All right, finally went live. All right, what is up? Good to see everybody on here. I got a poll question up. Who is NASCAR's biggest villain? This, of course, from the previous live stream where we didn't have enough time to run this poll. So decided to run it today. But a few things popped off in the NASCAR news today. Probably the one that got the most traction was the horsepower thing. This is not the first time Denny Hamlin has brought this up, but he brought it up again today, where he said it doesn't cost any extra money to create more horsepower. Which he's right, because Kyle Larson on the Dale Jr. Download also today referenced that Hendrick Motorsport also it wouldn't cost them any more money. And I think he said something like it wouldn't cost them more money to do 700, or it wouldn't cost them any more money to do 1,000 right now if they just took the tapered spacer off. So I found those comments interesting. And of course, was it Scott Moran went on NASCAR official? I think it was Scott Moran. I might have the name completely wrong. But he went on Sirius XM satellite radio and basically said that the reason that they're keeping the horsepower low is for cost savings and stuff like that. So they're the two sides of the story that are always the exact same way, right? The drivers and the teams keep saying bring new manufacturers into the sport. I think NASCAR is getting exposed here, and I think you're only going to be able to hold this live for so long, though, in my opinion, from NASCAR. Because what I think is actually happening is just too much stuff lines up that NASCAR story doesn't make any sense. We know already that, let's say Honda, it's official Honda. Let's just, for the sake of argument, say it's official Honda is coming in. The earliest Honda could get a car on the racetrack would be 2026. And that's if everything goes right. So by 2026, allegedly, we're going to have a new engine package. So reducing the horsepower for this engine package makes no sense, because this engine package right here technically wouldn't be the engine package that they're using when they come into the sport, right? So, and I'm saying this because whatever the dude's name is said 2026, 2027 would be the perfect time for a manufacturer to come in, and what he was alluding to was that's going to be when they make the change to the engine package. So nothing NASCAR saying really makes any logical sense. If these are the engine packages that the teams are going to have, and they already know how to make more horsepower with them for the exact same amount of cost or less by just removing the tapered spacer, and that would probably help out the short track package, why are we not doing it? It makes no sense. None of it makes any sense. You're not going to scare off any manufacturers coming into the sport by changing an engine package that they're never going to use. So from that perspective, it just really makes no sense as to why NASCAR won't come off of it, why NASCAR won't just change it and give it more horsepower. And look, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, until they make the tires skinnier for the short tracks or make them fall off significantly more horsepower is probably not going to help the short track package either, just to be totally fair about it. It'll help it out a little bit. Maybe you'll get a little bit more tire fall off, but the tires are so wide right now that there's, without tire fall off or without the tires being a lot smaller to create less grip. Chase Briscoe actually even said this post-race before they asked him about the Eric Jones thing. He said post-race, the tires are just so wide and have so much grip right now that, it doesn't matter what you do. It's just going to, the tires are just, they got too much grip, basically. He said the tires are too good, basically. So which is an ironic thing. So, all right, that's those are probably the biggest stories. Connor Zilich is going to drive the 88 for Junior Motorsports. I guess that was the other big story. And Mountain Dew back on the number 16 for AJ Allmendinger at Bristol. So I'm going to be seeing him there. Mark Barnum saying, "What's up, everybody? What's up, Mark Barnum?" Let's see. Mark Barnum saying, "Hey to Diesel, a lot of haze." So I'm just going to skip over these because there's just a lot of haze right here. And then we'll see what you guys want to talk about. There is a poll question, though, if you want to jump into the poll question. NASCAR's biggest villain, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Rowdy Busch, or Ross the Watermelon Boss Chastain, right now with 14 votes. 64% have Denny Hamlin winning, so he is the bigger villain right now. What's up, One Wise Guy? What's up, Roofer? What's up in between the lanes? And what's up, Chrome Diesel? Let's see. Warm weather finally in the corn patch. So Mark Barnum finally getting that warm weather that he wanted to see. It's Bristol, baby. So yeah, that's the other thing to get excited about. We do have Bristol racing, so Bristol, one of the better tracks. We'll see what the short track package has. Well, it's not even the exact same short track package, so no, we won't. But at least we're at Bristol. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Junior is blaming the car, not the package, for Phoenix and the short track product. I think it's both. I think it's like, if according to Chase Briscoe and Tyler Reddick has pretty much come out and said the same thing. The tires are just too wide. It doesn't matter what you do. You can put any car you want to on a tire this wide. They just have too much grip. Like, you got too much contact patch. So you can dial in as much grip as you want to. Now, obviously, you don't want to use the whole tire because that's going to slow the car down, at least on the straightaways. But you want to maximize it, but you've got too much tire width to play with, and that's going to be a big factor in it. We'll see. Rowdy is probably the most. So I mean, I disagree with him. He's smarter than me, and he'll forget more about racing than I'll ever know. But I disagree with him. I think the tire's too wide. I think that's the problem. Until you make the tire skinnier for the short tracks, you can't say anything about the car. To me. Let's see. Rowdy is probably the most popular driver now, says Roofer. He's up there. Busher really went over 100 laps on one set of tires. I mean, there you go. You're right there with me, wise guy. The tires they had some good fall off. You did have some comers and goers at Phoenix, but the tires didn't have enough fall off. And part of it is the compound, I feel like, has fall off, but it's just so wide that it's I don't know. They've got to do something. And I feel like making a skinnier tire and a more narrow rim would not be the biggest cost increase in the history of the sport. So I feel like that would be okay. Have a racing fan saying more horsepower. I mean, yeah. Here's the deal, though. Like, if you've got a tire this big, it doesn't matter how much horsepower you're making. You're still gonna have so much grip. So I don't know. To me, it's a tire thing. Because that goes back to Tyler Reddick talking about you could give them 1,000 horsepower until we make, he's basically talking about the tires, until you make the tires skinnier. These cars just have too much grip. They made the car too good. They made the tire too wide. Too much grip. They didn't make it racy enough. What's up, Cassandra? Good to see you. What's up, North Idaho? Good to see you as well. BD on Earth 2, is the short track package good? Of course, on Earth 2, all the packages are good because we just we stuck with what worked. What's up, B? Good to see you on here. Mark Barnum, what's up, my man? We run a same motor, just neutered with a spacer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, all these teams have R&D and research for them, and there's only 3 or 4 people that make engines anyway, so they all have the information on how to make these things go fast. The tapered spacer is not saving anybody money. In fact, I would argue that the more rules you make, the more money is going to get spent to find even fewer advantages, even lesser advantages. You're spending more money to get lesser advantage than like back in the day when they had, fewer rules and you didn't have to spend as much money to find advantages because you had different areas you could work in. By narrowing it down, you have everybody spending tons of money looking at the exact same stuff to get better with the exact same very narrow windows of things that you can adjust on. And so to me, NASCAR, by making more rules and by making the margins tighter, effectively has made the sport more expensive. But that's just my opinion. We'll see. Let's see. Big ups to Denny for calling Cap on the higher horsepower costing more. Yeah, I mean, this is the second or third time he's done it, so I'm glad he's sticking with his guns and saying how he feels, because he's absolutely right. And NASCAR keeps doubling down and saying that it's not true, and that's going to be a detriment to NASCAR, because I mean, it makes no sense. You're not going to attract a new manufacturer because a new manufacturer is not going to be using this engine package. You're going to change the engine package. You've already told us that. 2026, 2027 is going to be a perfect time for a new manufacturer to come in. So you basically already told us that that's when the new engine package is coming. So it makes no sense to keep inhibiting this particular horsepower package. What's up, Cassandra? Mark Wise, one wise guy. Roofer and Bumblebee. What's up, Cassandra? Good to see you on here as always. Let's see. BD, will Bristol this weekend be a good race? I hope it will. it normally is a pretty good race, regardless. So I'm thinking this one will be probably a good race too. There was a cool comment. I forget who posed the question. It might have been NBC. I know I saw the after effects of NBC, but it said a prime Dale Earnhardt Sr. and a prime Kyle Busch 10-lap shootout, one versus one. Who wins? And Kyle Busch tweeted out a pretty funny response. He said, "Neither one of us is going to make it to the checkered flag." So I thought that was pretty good. I did see that. I know the last part was posted by NBC, so good response there from Rowdy. I thought that was pretty funny. Howdy from Kazakhstan. Howdy, let's see, Cassandra, Roofer, Mark, Bumblebee, Chrome, and Kyle. What's up, Robin Marks? Good to see you on here. Do you really think Briscoe answered the phone? I don't know. One wise guy. That'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. Eric Jones has been a little bit more vocal than I've seen him recently. I feel like he knows the cars are better now, and so he's getting a little more upset when he's taken out by some of these guys. So I feel like Eric Jones is sort of amping up the intensity. There's a chance that maybe he starts paying people back, if you know what I mean. So he's going to be an interesting one to watch this season, because I think he's got high expectations, and I think he's getting upset when they take him out of having these good runs. BD, did you see someone is running a Four Loko scheme in Xfinity this weekend? I had not seen that, but you know what? That's awesome. Whoever that is, we're going to pull for him. Let me jump over here and look that up. Ryan Ellis in the 43. Ryan Ellis with the Four Loko. So that's awesome. That's pretty cool, man. I'm pretty pumped up about that. Rain delay this weekend. Count on it, says Mark Barnum. You know what? I'm not gonna be disappointed if it gets a little bit of weather, because that could make for some interesting racing. So I don't know. Let's see. As long as it doesn't affect the start time, I guess I should say. Washing the rubber off could make for some exciting racing, because it'll grind the tires faster until they lay the rubber down. Then you'll see different grooves pop in. That was my mentality of my thinking on that. I don't want it to affect the start time, so I should clarify that. Let's see. David McSwain, what's up, my man? Hey, BB, and everyone from Pensacola, Florida. Hope all are doing well. We are doing good, my friend, and I hope you're doing good too. What's up, Pensacola, and what's up, everybody in Florida? Bumblebee saying Four Loko not good. So she had a bad experience with the Loko. I remember the original Four Loko. That was it was properly named. We'll put it to you that way. Ty Gibbs has a Sirius XM scheme for Bristol this weekend. It is a good-looking scheme. I've seen that. And Kyle Busch has a FICO credit score sponsor, FICO, your FICO score or whatever, however that works. That's his scheme. And him and Ty Gibbs have a similar scheme where it's like a blue stripe down the side of the car. But both of them look really good. I actually like the blue and white there. Sort of a brighter version of the old Busch beer car that number 11 that Yarborough drove, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Howdy from the most hallowed ground in American sports car racing, Sebring Raceway. Another Florida man here, staying through here. The 12-hour classic on Saturday. We'll give you a report on your Sunday morning stream. Appreciate you there, Matt Hunter. I have fun in Sebring. That's one I want to check out one year myself as well. Sebring is on the list. Let's see, maybe one day. When I give up the race car side of things, I can go to more events. I can follow IMSA and NASCAR. I've really gotten into IMSA. I want to get into some dirt racing and some drag racing too. I need to hit both of those up. I've been to a dirt race before, but I was so little that I don't really remember it. So technically, as far as remembering things, have not been to a dirt race, and definitely need to go to a drag race. Besides tires and brakes being too big, I think the gear ratio on the transaxle is messed up. Plus the RPM limit barely reaching 9,000. We used to get as high as 9,800 a decade ago, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, so that's the other big thing. I think if you can't turn the engines any higher than that, you're not going to have any worries with engine, engine failure or pushing your engine to the limit. So I don't think they'll really be worried about that too much. Somebody popping off shots out there. That sounded close. Let's see. I think Denny is the biggest villain. He's still pretty dang good. I think so too, and I think he plays up the villain role. I think Kyle Busch moving over to RCR sort of took away his villain thing, because I feel like he gets more cheers than boos now. Kyle Busch has a FICO scheme running the truck race as well. So there you go. Kyle Busch going to run the old Spire car or Spire truck in the truck race. Is there any hope for a return to Nashville Fairgrounds? I assume that's what they like to do the Bristol Spring Break to become, but it seems unlikely. Wilkesboro seems to be a better bet right now. All I can tell you, Napa racing fan, is they're working on it. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but it's always 1 big step back. So I don't know. It depending on the day and when you ask as to where they are with it. But I know they're trying to get it done. I know they're definitely trying to get it done. What's up, BB? The Dinger car, I'm saying top 3 at least for paint scheme this year, says T-Van. Yeah, it's a pretty good combo. You got the Food City car, you got Doritos, not Doritos, but you got Cheetos and you got Mountain Dew. That's a nice combination. AJ Allmendinger drinks Mountain Dew with his Cheetos. Don't we all? Let's see. Serious question. What do you think and we brush our teeth with sugar. What's your serious question? Do you think the issue is with the 48 car? Ever since he got hurt, he's been the slowest of his teammates. That's a good question. If you take it, that's a good question, wise guy. If you take it all the way back to the golden era of Hendrick, there's always one car. There's always one car that is not as fast as the others. So I think if you're a Hendrick Motorsports fan, I think the last few years where everybody was sort of getting wins and getting multiple wins, I think you were kind of spoiled with that, because for the vast majority of Hendrick's time as a race team, whether it was a 2-car team, 3-car team, 4-car team, or whatever, there was always one car that just wasn't up to par with the other 4 cars. And sometimes the way I don't know if they still got it split like this. It's been a long time since I've been up there. But back when they had one place up on the top of the hill, and then there was a place on the bottom of the hill that did 2 cars down here, and then you were doing 2 cars up there. When I visited, the 24 and the 48 were being built up here, and the 5 and the 25 were being built down there. And during that particular era, the 5 and the 25, until Mark Martin basically got into it, were the slower cars, significantly slower than the 48 and the 24. Now, that could be that they were getting the exact same equipment. It could have been a driver thing. It could be a situation where the driver was making the difference there, or it could be a situation where those 2 cars being built up there were just getting better equipment, and these 2 cars being built down here. But I think for the longest time, they've always had at least one car that was off the pace. And so I'm thinking now it's probably a similar situation to that. If I had to guess, I don't think Alex Bowman forgot to drive because he broke his back. I don't think that's really at this point affecting him as much. I think maybe last season you could have made an argument for it that it might have still been in his head a little bit. But I think he's had the full time to recover now, so I don't think that's really affecting him any. I think it's just if you look at the bigger teams, there's always one car that seems to be really good, and there's one car that seems to be really bad, and then there's 2 cars that are always in the middle. Unfortunately, he's the one that always gets talked about getting replaced. So unfortunately for him, it's a bad situation for him to be the slower car. Worst thing I saw this weekend was throwing the caution for Deegan barely getting up against the wall. Next restart, a big wreck happens, says Napa Race fan. Yeah, that's the thing with NASCAR. They're always inconsistent with their cautions. And it was absolutely ridiculous that they threw a caution for that. I 100% agree with you. But I can't say that it's out of the ordinary, because NASCAR, we've talked about this several times. NASCAR, when they want a caution, they'll throw one quick. When they don't want a caution, they'll sit on one when they should have thrown one. So it's something NASCAR really needs to work on. Not NASCAR related, but NFL free agency has begun. Officially starts at 4 p.m. tomorrow, but big moves are being made. Yeah, 2 running backs already on the move. Cincinnati getting rid of Joe Mixon, and probably the bigger one is Derrick Henry going over to Baltimore. If I can't, I think I'm remembering that off the top of my head. And then Russell Wilson, of course, going to Pittsburgh. So some serious movement there. Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta, and who's the guy for the Patriots? The Patriots quarterback is going to Jacksonville, which has everybody joking about he's going to be the starter over there in Jacksonville. Let's see. Agree, tire issue, but staying at 670 is not helping tire wear, and a narrower tire would definitely help, says Napa Race fan. Yeah, I think you're all over it. I think you need to do both. I think you need to narrow the tire, and you definitely need to increase the horsepower. I agree with that 100%. Everybody else having YouTube problems, says T-Van. It might be. It might be. YouTube has been a little bit flaky here the past couple days. It always, whenever there's big sort of like cycles, obviously there's some big political thing going on today. I saw that on the news, so that might be more traffic than normal, and it might be making YouTube buggy. Has the rumors of Homestead made it your way yet? I haven't seen Eric Estep's video, but that's the only one I've seen where Miami might get the final race again. Roofer saying it's fine here. Try refreshing, says Wise Guy. Thoughts on the Cars Tour race, says NASCAR Guy. I didn't get a chance to see it. I was bummed out that Landon Huffman, man. I was bummed out that he didn't get a. I think he qualified, but he qualified last. In fact, so he had something going on with the car. But Marcus Richmond and him, he took it to Marcus. Marcus is who builds his chassis. So he took it to Marcus. Marcus analyzed it and figured out what was wrong with it. And they said it was something fairly simple. So they've got it buttoned back up together. So, but other than that, I mean, it wasn't no surprise the 8-car won, right? So Carson Voppel wins the race. So yeah, Cars Tour race, always a fun event to go to. So if there's a Cars Tour race in your area, though, I would encourage you to go check it out. Always a good fun time. Let's see. BB, I'll apologize for myself from last week. Buddy DMAC and can hardly stand Phoenix race. Oh, you're good. Look, not every racetrack is for every person. You don't have to like every racetrack. That's the good thing actually about NASCAR racetracks. They've got so many of them that there will be a track for you. So you don't even ever worry about stuff like that. Dude, we're good. Like, it's always all good. Everybody, everybody's opinion and point of view is always welcome. That's the cool thing about NASCAR. There's so many different tracks. Everybody likes a different type of track. It's no biggie. I'll be honest with you, man. I like two of the tracks I like are two of the most hated tracks on the schedule. I like Pocono and I like Richmond. So it is what it is. I know Richmond can put on a good race. I've seen Richmond put on good races. If they fix the package, I'm telling you, man, Richmond will be a fun track to go to. And Pocono, I just like it because it's a triangle. Like, they tried something different. The races are never particularly great as far as a finish goes, but I do like Pocono, especially when you get rid of the stages. If there's one race that you need to get rid of stages for, it's Pocono, because it always comes down to fuel mileage. So Pocono, even though it's not the most exciting race for like passing and stuff like that, it always has a crazy finish. A lot of high drama if you take the stages away. Phoenix has loyal fans, just it doesn't deserve to host the finale. Plus cup cars, garbage at most short tracks. Yeah, that's my only real issue. I can't really necessarily trash the tracks so much as we got to get the car figured out, right? And to be fair, I know there were different iterations, but basically the underpinnings of those cars were the same for like 50 or 60 years. So we've only had this car for, not too long now. Maybe 5 or 6 years tops with this type of stuff. I can't exactly remember off the top of my head how long we've had this car. So let's see, about 4 or 5 years maybe. So they'll figure it out eventually. But right now we're going through the growing pains, and this car is definitely not figured out. It's near impossible. Oh, if you want to check out the merch link where you can get this sweatshirt and this hat, also t-shirts and other stuff. The link is right there from one Wise Guy. Appreciate you, Wise Guy. It's nearly impossible for Bristol to produce a bad race as an Napa racing fan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Typically Bristol has good races. Let's see. Thoughts on NASCAR ratings versus Indy. I hope the Indy ratings keep getting better. The F1 ratings were not particularly good either. And I was glad that the NASCAR ratings were good, but I want all motorsports to succeed. So hopefully they all get the numbers. They pump those rookie numbers up. What's the weather looking like this weekend? Looking kind of wet as it stands right now, T-Van. IndyCar has a marketing crisis. I don't know how Penske isn't putting any effort into it since taking ownership of the series. I don't know, Chrome. So hopefully he gets it figured out. I think it's going to rain, says Wise Guy. It's definitely looking like rain. I'm just hoping it doesn't affect the start times. But I do like how it could play havoc on the setups and stuff like that. Junior was watching his daughter when the number 7 had the tire go down, and he said his daughter got upset. Also reminded him of the time it happened to his dad. I think at the Daytona 500. Yeah, that was such crazy. Good call there, Mark. Robin Marks, that was such a crazy. That's exactly what it reminded me of. Like the old was it Derek Cope that beat him? That was the first one that jumped into my head. Phoenix is worthy of having a single date in the middle round of 8. Finale should go back to Homestead where it belongs. As long as it's a track that you sell out, I'm okay with that. Like you can move it around. It's just got to be a track that you sell out. Not sure if this would fix anything, but NASCAR should experiment with no spoiler and no splitter on short tracks, or at least a very thin. I think you need some type of spoiler back there, but at least a way thinner one. And I think the way that the whole car attaches underneath, I don't know if they could completely get rid of the splitter, but you're going in the right direction. Maybe they get something to attach under there that's not a splitter, but will also hold the body together. You think Corey is feeling the pressure with Josephus performing the way he is? Yeah, I would say so. This is the first time Corey's had a teammate that he has to worry about. So I would imagine some of that pressure is being felt. That being said, I hope not. I hope they learn to work together and both build each other up. Because I don't know, seems like a better angle to work on that one. Ryan Ellis forgot where the break was and ruined Deegan's weekend. Says Mark Barnum, the old accordion effect. Like he was trying to shoot the gap. He thought she was going to shoot the gap. I know what he was thinking. Just didn't work out. Two people had two different ideas, and yeah, he got into the back of old Deegan there. Look, she's got to be right up there with Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric, Sam Mayer, and Justin Allgaier with bad luck. So I've got to say, let's see, BB, what is the answer? Change the car or change the horsepower? I mean, until you make the tires skinnier, like you could put this size tire on the previous car. Like let's say you put this size tire on the Xfinity car, I think you're going to have the same problem. So I would have to say off the top of my head, change the tire. So I'm going to go with neither of those, because until you make the tires skinnier or have a lot more fall off, one or the other, it's going to be maybe go to a Hoosier tire from back in the day that had like a lot of fall off. It was really fast for like 3 or 4 laps. Then it was like it fell like all the way off. Almost knocked my water over there. That was almost a serious situation. Let's see. Looking forward to the Mazda MX-5 racing at Sebring this weekend. Hey, the MX-5 Cup, man. That's some of the most exciting stuff you'll ever see. You think Cup Series restrictor plate racing is wild? Wait till you see it on a road course. I saw those schemes while using YouTube signed out. Ross Chastain has Busch Light fishing. Yeah, that's a good looking one too. And I believe he is running this weekend at Bristol. Yeah, that's another good looking one. I think it's going to be good. But so far, my favorite is the Mountain Dew one, and then probably a tie between Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, and Ty Gibbs as far as the ones that I've seen so far. That's bold. TJ Moorhead, no spoiler. Yeah, you're going to need a little bit of a spoiler, but not much. Maybe a 1 or 2 inch spoiler back there. That would make it interesting. 3 championship round, rotating between Martinsville, Phoenix, and Miami. How does that sound? I like it. I like the rotation of the event. I want Austin Dillon to have better luck. That Morgan car is funny. I want to see the Morgan car run well. I think Kyle Busch has won a race in it, if I'm not mistaken, though. But I would like to see the Morgan car run well. I know people in Florida hate it because I guess they see that guy all the time, but I think it's pretty funny. Whenever somebody puts their face on the car, that's I'm a sucker for that. Someone stated the fact that the winners so far have been from last year's Final Four. Hey, there you go. I mean, they were in the Final Four for a reason. I know we're still early on, but Haley moving to Rick Ware Racing doesn't look so bad. Hey, he knew something we didn't know, right? So hopefully they keep improving over there. I was at Sebring in '76. Peter Gregg, Hans Stuck, John Greenwood, some of the greatest names in sports car racing, and the cars. All of the '60s and '70s cars are iconic and classic, my friend. Not only that, but the liveries. If you remember, the liveries back then were newish. And they've now they're the classics that people always look back to. The 48 almost won the Daytona 500, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, like I said, he hasn't run bad. He's just, he's always the one on the hot seat. He's had decent speed, but he seemingly has been the 4th fastest, or at least as far as finishes go, the 4th fastest this year. And it's just Alex Bowman. People are always like, wow, they need to get rid of Alex Bowman and insert whoever's favorite driver. That's who we need over there instead of Alex Bowman. That's the plight of being poor Alex Bowman. Matt Jaskell is going to race. I probably said that name wrong, so apologies. Attempt to make the Cup race at COTA with MBM. So there you go, Carl Long. Hopefully they can find the sponsorship over there and get it done. One wise guy, every year the race winner also won the championship. That trend broke last year. I did not know that. Diesel said, wise guy, they're giving my man Bowman the R&D stuff. LOL, says Bumblebee. Going to see Connor Zilic perform here in LMP2 car. Have his Daytona class win. He's one I've got my eye on as the next big thing whenever he goes, says Matt Hunter. Yeah, I think he's definitely got to be in the mix. Mac Jones, appreciate it. Mac Jones was the quarterback I was trying to think of. I couldn't remember his name off the top of my head. I don't watch a lot of Patriots football because they're an AFC team, and I pretty much just watch NFC because I assume Kansas City's going to come out of the AFC, so I only focus on NFC teams. One wise guy looked suspicious, or now the Ravens. I got to put the Ravens in that mix. They've been pretty tough the last couple of years here. And if Joe Burrow, well, they just got rid of Mixon, so I don't know. Joe Burrow is a wild card too, so I feel like he's going to be every bit as good as Patrick Mahomes. So those are the only three teams I really pay attention to in the AFC. And if I've insulted your team, apologies. Buffalo Bills, always pulling for them though. Go Bills. Let's see, Bills Mafia. One wise guy, it looked suspicious. Many speculated it was rigged. Then the non-champ eligible Chastain won the 2023 Phoenix finale. Eventual champ finished second. YouTube is being hard-headed. I'm just now able to access comments again, says B. Yeah, I think they've ratcheted up a lot of stuff because there's a political event going on tonight. So I feel like they're just being. It's either got way more traffic, or they're being super critical of everything that's being put out right now. Just one of those type of things. One of those days. Wise guy, he's definitely the number one prospect for it. YouTube has been jacked up all weekend. It's crashed a couple times during the full tournament streams that I've been watching, says Mark Barnum. Homestead was also mentioned on the teardown. So the teardown might be where the rumors are coming from. For sure, BB, who does Applebee's have? BB, does Applebee's have the best wings? Says OJ and Toothpaste. I don't think I've ever had. Well, I've probably had the Buffalo Tenders there. So I can't speak. I can't speak for them. I would probably have to say the best as far as those restaurants go. I mean, Buffalo Wild Wings for sure. But if you're going to go with like TGI Fridays or Applebee's, we'll go with Applebee's. We'll go with Mike Harmon's Applebee's for wings there. You just did not have the poll leader's name right. It's Denny the Door Camlin. Hey, sir. Says William Wagaman. I love Pocono. Or you can do Hamster. Yeah, I was about to say there's all kinds of nicknames for James Dennis. I love Pocono, says Cassandra. I do too. Pocono's my home track, says Chrome. Let's see. Pocono was awful a few years back. Now it's one of the best races of the season, says Roofer. Denny the Dork Hamster. That is also one of many home tracks for Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr., the man with 15 home tracks. Anytime that there's a race up north, that's Martin Truex Jr.'s home track. Let's see. David McSwain dropping the weather for us. 70% rain on Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 a.m. on Saturday. It's Bristol, baby, one of my favorites. So there you go. There will be some precipitation in the forecast. Will Parker Kligerman do the thing on NBC where he gets on his knees and touches the ground and be like, "Hey, look, it's raining. Let's do the watch for Parker Kligerman to see if he does the rain thing." And if he's flying out there, let's see if he gets that upgrade on Instagram. The Deegan caution was totally bogus. It's definitely not of the ordinary as they claim. The sports entertainment, it should be pure racing, not added gimmicks for entertainment. I agree with you. They need a serious overhaul of when they do and do not call cautions because they've always been inconsistent. Breakard talked about ratings between NASCAR and Formula One. Yeah, Formula One didn't even get 1 million viewers, according to the one I saw. It was like it was right there at it. It was like 929 or something like that. Bristol will dry off quick. It's concrete, says William. Yeah, but it'll wash the rubber off is what I was talking about. So it'll make for somebody will be really strong in the first half of the race, and then their car will be totally different once they lay rubber down. So it makes for an interesting race. That's what I was getting at with the rain. I hope it doesn't affect the start time. So I wanted to clarify that. Bristol and Dover, Put Phoenix in the race in the summer so the pavement melts the tires. LOL, says Mark Barnum. It'll melt the drivers too. Unfortunately, Bristol and Dover run the intermediate package, and it'll definitely melt the fans. Should they throw the short track package in the trash and just run intermediate track package everywhere with smaller tire and more horsepower? I mean, I wouldn't hate that. I see no problem with it. You might as well try something, right? I agree with that, Napa, 100%, says William. MX5 series is wild, especially at Daytona. Oh yeah, MX5 is some of the best. Like, just YouTube it. You don't even have to wait for it. There's so many of them, and a lot of them are in cars. It's good racing when you can watch the in car and be entertained for the whole thing. Let's see. Corey LaJoy had his face on his car during the Gen 6 era. Yeah, that was the Old Spice one, if I'm not mistaken. BD Chick-fil-A, mac and cheese or Kraft mac and cheese. I go with Velveeta shells and cheese. That's the alpha in that particular mix. The splitter directs air through the hood louvers for the front downforce, so don't think they can do without it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To get rid of the splitter altogether, they would have to figure out a whole nother thing to attach on there. For sure. Mooncar had the MX5 24-hour race at Martinsville. Duke Chronic. I think his name's Travis. Travis over there doing Mooncar. He's always got something wild going on. Dude's a trip, especially on Twitter. How do you think Sheldon Fields finishing behind his? I've never met him. I just follow him on Twitter. Behind his old car again. I didn't meet him, but I saw him at Orange County. I've seen him in person. I haven't met him. How do you think Sheldon Fields finishing behind his old car again? One wise guy. I mean, it's pretty funny, man. Like, he needs to. The thing is, he's going to catch so much crap if Jesse Love wins a race before him in the 2 car, because he literally was basically like. And the reason it's funny to me is he said the RCR equipment was not up to par, and I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? RCR, you can say what you want to about the Cup Series, whatever. RCR Xfinity Series stuff, that's good equipment, dude. Like, I mean, I couldn't get on board with that. And I like Sheldon Creed, but I'm like, dude, what are you going on about? And now granted, Joe Gibbs' Xfinity equipment is the best of the best, but like RCR equipment, if it's off, it ain't far off. I'll tell you that right now. We need to overhaul the car as a whole, says Chrome Diesel. I mean, the Xfinity car runs pretty good. I have to wonder if Joey Logano will break the top 20 in drivers in Cup points list. Not impressive start so far, says Jamie. It's been impressive speed-wise. It has not been impressive with the finishes. I will give him that. Now the last race, he was off on speed for sure. But the previous races to that, he's had one of the faster cars. So we'll have to see what happens there. What's up, say Kyle? Good to see you on here, my friend. Bowman had 4 wins in 2021. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why people are always like he's on the hot seat. BB, if Honda joins NASCAR, will VTEC kick in? That's the interesting thing. Like, if they do, I could see if NASCAR really wants to play it up. I could see a situation where NASCAR goes, all right, here you got the same IMSA rules. No matter what engine you have, we're gonna balance the performance horsepower wise. You can run a 4-cylinder, you can run a V6, you can run a V8, whatever your package is. We're gonna cap it off horsepower wise right here. I think that would be interesting. So in that situation, yeah, they would have a VTEC. More than likely, though, NASCAR is going to go to a common-ish like what they have now. They're going to go to a certain displacement block. There's going to be some type of power adder, whether it's I'm thinking like an electronic supercharger, like some Mitsubishi trucks have, where it would continuously run the whole race. So that would be your electrification, so that it looks good on paper, so that the car manufacturers can be like, look, we're helping the environment. There's electrification on this engine. So probably something like that. So it'll be a hybrid engine, but not like a Toyota Prius, although the new Prius has some sports specs. But it'll be like a hybrid, but more like a performance supercar hybrid than the hybrid most people are thinking of. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. They don't even know yet. They said nothing's off the table, which I'm like, dude, y'all had like 6 years to think about what you're going to do with this engine, and you still have no freaking clue what you're going to do with it. NASCAR is going to NASCAR. I think Iowa corn would be perfect under the intermediate tracks package. It's a 7/8 mile, but also very wide. It could run like a mini intermediate and would be really fun, or a slightly better version of Richmond. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that want Iowa on the schedule for sure. Bowman, that's always one of the popular ones when we're talking about racetracks that people want for sure. Bowman drove the wheels off some of them back runner cars a few years ago. He's a really good driver. Cars just aren't right for his driving. 48, my personal favorite number. Yeah, so that I'm with you. I think Alex Bowman's a really good driver. I've never understood this. There's two things from the Hendrick guys that I will never understand. One is always putting Alex Bowman on the hot seat. The other one is the Chase Elliott fans always wanting Alan Gustafson fired. I knew I was going to mess his name up. Alan Gustafson fired. Those are the two things from the Hendrick camp that I will never understand. Like till the day I leave this planet, I will never understand why you want to get rid of Alex Bowman, because is there anybody that's really like so much better that you can actually get and put in that 48? And, poor Alan, all he did was win you a title. And a couple years ago, Chase Elliott had the best season, right? Most wins. He just, he didn't win the championship. So he sort of did the opposite of what he did when he won the championship. So, whatever, whatever. I don't know what to tell you. I guess it's what have you done for me lately? It is what it is. I recently they're taking the Yankees mentality. You won the championship last year. You didn't win the championship this year. You got to go. I guess that's where some Hendrick fans are going with old Gus there. I recently researched the Cadillac motor used in IMSA GTP. It's hybrid, runs naturally aspirated, dual overhead cam, V8, 5.5 liter. It puts out 670 horsepower. I speculate NASCAR might implement that. I'm with you, Chrome Diesel. I think that's the direction they're going. And before that, they ran a it was either a 6.0. It was also normally aspirated too. But I think they have one now with some boost. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I think you're right. And I think they're thinking about going to one with some boost or something like that. But yeah, for sure. And it was built by ECR. That's the one I'm thinking about was built by ECR. And it's naturally aspirated with dual overhead cam. So I think you're right. I think they'll go to like a common block, and then the OEMs will figure out the heads and the camshafts, would be my guess. And then they'll have some type of electric power adder, because they'll want some electrification on it. What do the attendance look like at Bristol? I'm hoping it sells out. I'm really hoping it sells out for sure. No Xfinity this week, just trucks and Cup. Not sure ARCA maybe as well at Bristol. I know trucks for sure, but I know Xfinity has the week off. I don't really follow ARCA, so I couldn't tell you anything about that. Pocono is the first NASCAR race I ever attended, just 12 miles from our family home in 1973. Only moved 2 miles from Charlotte Motor Speedway in 1975. So yeah, Pocono is another track I want to get up there and see. Maybe one year I can pull off the Pocono Watkins Glen double. That's what I said about Cadillac coming, says William Wagman. I just don't think Cadillac's coming. Like, I don't understand it. BB, do you think I just don't think they want to race against Toyotas and Fords. I think Cadillac and the people that they want to market Cadillacs to, they want to race the Cadillac against other luxury brands. So I don't see that being a fit for Cadillac. So that's sort of my perspective on that one. B, do you think the Xfinity commercial with the kid going on a date and dancing was funny or cringe? Says OJ and Toothpaste. I don't know. I've never paid attention to it. I know they run it. I know what you're talking about, but I've never really paid attention to it. So I'll have to pay attention to it next time they run it. I've gotten to that point in life where as soon as commercials come on, I'm like, all right, let's get on the phone and talk on Discord or talk on Twitter. That's pretty much what happens when the commercials come on now. I completely just ignore them. Which is why NASCAR needs to go to a different model where they just do side-by-sides, because that's the only way you're going to get me to actually stare at the screen is when you've got a commercial over here and the racing over here. Because as soon as the full-screen commercials come up, Twitter and Discord are getting all my attention. Haley was still on the wall in the yellow flu. Officials do have favorites or favoritism. Oh, yeah, they definitely have favoritism. And then sometimes the favoritism is not even the driver. Sometimes the favoritism is just we need a caution here to spice things up. So there's a lot, in my opinion. I can't prove it. A lot of things factor into that. William Wagman, that 5.5 motor on the GTP Cadillac is similarly placed on special Corvettes. So technically it's a GM motor. Yeah, and that's the thing. There's no, it's just GM stuff now. There's no brand unless you're talking about LS. There's no, or maybe they don't even make the 3.8 anymore. So yeah, unless you're talking about the LS block, it's all just General Motors name badge. Put whatever name badge you want on it at this point. It wasn't her fault at Phoenix, says William Wagman. I agree, Chrome Diesel. That motor runs. IndyCar goes to thermal. And to be fair, Honda already has something that competes with it with their Acura brand over there, right? So you've got Acura and you've got Chevrolet, or you got Honda and you've got Chevrolet that already have a spec motor. That's what I'm saying. You just grab those two motors and drop them in there. And Ford could come up with something. They've run a similar motor. I think theirs is a V6 that they ran. It's a different series or a different division within that series. But Ford has some familiarity with those specs as well. IndyCar goes to Thermal Club in a few weeks for $1 million. Yeah, they've dropped the prices on those tickets too, by the way, for the Thermal Club. How much you bet Caitlin Clark will be Grand Marshal at the Iowa race? There's a good chance she has some involvement with it. She's one of the hotter topics right now for sure. Oh my God, the 9 Twitter peeps were hardcore calling for Alan's head Sunday night. The 9 team Twitter feed says say Kyle. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, like God knows, dude. Like what does the guy got to do? Then again, half of the 2024 team Twitter peeps were crying about Rudy getting screwed on strategy too. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like it's a crew chief is a lose-lose situation. Even when you win, sometimes people are like, well, he won just because of the driver. So like the crew chief is the biggest lose-lose situation in motorsports. BB, are you impressed with Ryan Preece so far this year on Earth too? He's killing it. So the penalty didn't help him either. Yeah. Who thought I would be saying this? Earth 2, the battle for the lead is between Ryan Preece and Joey Logano. Like, who really thought that was going to be a conversation we were having in 2024? I wish Wheeling Modified race at Bristol. It says Chrome Diesel, because I want to say, do I have it still pulled up? Is it still pulled up? Is it still pulled up? Oh yeah, here we go. Of drivers that have made all the starts. Joey Logano, Josh Berry, Austin Dillon, Zane Smith, Kaz Gralla, Ryan Preece are battling it out for last car right now. Who thought Joey Logano, Josh Berry, Austin Dillon, and Ryan Preece would be in the running for that? Like, you could make an argument that Zane Smith and Kaz Gralla. Well, Josh Berry's a rookie too. He's just an older rookie. But eliminate the rookies. But Joe Logano, Austin Dillon, and Ryan Preece battling it out for last car. I did not have that on my 2024 bingo, particularly Joey Logano. Let's see. I don't get the wanting Bowman dumped and Gustafson fired thing. Either Gustafson and Elliott is now the longest tenured pair, and Bowman is far from a bad driver. I'm right there with you, Napa fan. I just till I leave this planet, I won't understand what more Alan Gustafson could do for that 9 car. We will see. We'll see at the Glen. BB says Roofer. Hopefully one day. Elliott and Bowman also helped HMS run somewhat competitive and make the playoffs with their terrible 2018 season and making the round of 8 in 2019. For sure, I think they make turns of. I think they take turns of trying different setups and things like that. It's the 9 and the 48's turn. Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting. For those bigger teams, there's always one car that's running the R&D scheme or the R&D package. So it is what it is. NASCAR thinking out of the box with the new race venues, new generation car, other stuff. Will be cool having an open event in the form of a demolition derby and a few select cup races. It could be sort of like a pre-race thing or something like that, or maybe a post-race. You wouldn't want to get the track too dirty. So yeah, there you go. One wise guy dropping the Discord if you want to join the Discord. Sorry I got here late. What do you think of AJ's do Cheeto scheme this week? I thought it was awesome. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Dirty Death. I think it's one of the better schemes of the weekend. The other ones that jumped to my attention that you missed on the Sirius XM and the Kyle Busch FICO score cars. They look a little bit similar. They got a big blue stripe down the side of them. I like both of those cars. I think they're good looking. And what was the other one we were talking about? There's another one in there too. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Somebody else has a pretty good one, but I can't think of it right off the top of my head. CL Keller, I meant to say, says Jamie Schweitzer. Yep. David McSwain says, Roofer, my brother claims that if Honda joined NASCAR, better watch out because they make a better engine than everyone else. He worked at Honda for 20 years, but works at Mercedes now. Honda's definitely got the efficiency part of it figured out. You even see that in the cars as far as fuel mileage and stuff like that goes. There's some rather heavy Hondas that still get like 40 miles to gallon. A lot of that has to do with the CVT transmission, but the other part of that has to do with the efficiency of the engine for fuel mileage. And then, of course, you've seen with Red Bull, and you saw flashes of it when they were with McLaren and F1, but they can build a heck of a motor. Or engine. There's no doubt about it. The other Chevrolet teams don't have as much pressure for testing. With no testing, says David McSwain. I agree. It's all about simulation data at this point. And then the bigger teams probably run one R&D car. Now those Fords are just getting warmed up, says Roofer. I agree with you. I think Ford's going to have a strong second half of the season. What's Austin Dillon's numbers at Bristol? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if he's good or bad there. Let's see here. 4,000 ads. Not good. Average finish of 21st is zero top 10s, 0 top 5s. He does have 5 laps led, so he's got that going for him. So he's not good. He does qualify well here. He's got an average starting position of 9.3. He has he does have a best finish of 7th, but that was not within the since February 2021. So that's not within that particular time frame. It's looking like, but he does have I was on the wrong. He's got a best finish since 2021 of 15th, a worst finish of 31. So he has not got Bristol figured out. But I'll tell you who does have Bristol figured out. His teammate Kyle Busch, and I don't even need to look at his numbers. His numbers don't look good off the top of my head, but I know he gets the job done here. But not since 2021, he's not among the top drivers here. So we'll have to see. This is not technically the short track package, so RCR could still technically run good here. And I would expect the better car to obviously be the 8 car because this is just a Kyle Busch track. GTD Mustang program. David McSwain says, Roofer, I do appreciate you and your time. Thanks, says David. Did Christopher Bell win the race? Go Ross, go. Yeah, Christopher. Fun fact about the race in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. Not a lot of people know this because we've talked about everything else, but Christopher Bell won the race. Let's see, and that was the story from the video on Monday. Did Christopher Bell? Let's see. Go Ross, go! But I won't be hurt if Christopher Bell wins. He won Sunday, right? For sure. And yeah, Christopher Bell. Joe Gibbs Racing is pretty good at Bristol. Any type of short track, really, Joe Gibbs Racing is pretty good at. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're good here. Once again, when did the 12 go from a team that qualifies well but fades to one that keeps up with the track system race? It looks like this season because typically that's been the opposite. But this season they've turned it around and flipped it. From what I understand, Chevy's key teams, Hendrick, Trackhouse, RCR work closer together than the other 2 manufacturers, so it's always interesting to see how close those 8 drivers are every week. I agree with you, and I'll tell you what, I'll throw Spire in there now too because I feel like Spire is getting a lot of help from Trackhouse, and I think eventually Colleague is going to get a lot of help from Trackhouse because I feel like that's where one of their drivers is going to go. Next season or the season after that. I think you're either going to see SVG or Daniel Suarez or somebody else over there. You're going to see some combination where they have somebody full-time in that 16 coming up. I think they'll rent that ride out. So I think eventually you'll see all those Chevrolet teams elevated. Let's see. Do you think Todd Gilliland or Michael McDowell will get a win this season? That's a good question. Michael McDowell tends to win every other year, but I feel like eventually Todd Gilliland's going to punch through. I just don't know about this season. I think but they've been fast. So I think once Ford gets their nose or their whatever they're lacking, once they get that figured out, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of those drivers win. Michael McDowell, of course, always tough on road courses and short tracks, and Todd Gilliland, he's really tough at Martinsville actually. he could be a sleeper for Martinsville. I'm late to the party. HMS sucks. Says like this, like if there are any new automakers to come to NASCAR, I see Spire being the team they go with. I see Spire and Trackhouse being the team they go with. That's just my opinion on it. LOL like this, like cheers, man. Says Roofer, I gotta go. Thanks for the fun. Dog walking time before the rain hits. Get that dog walk before the rain hits. Appreciate you being with us, Cassandra. BB, what's better, Mavis Tires and Brakes or America's Tires? I'm gonna have to go with Mavis. Yeah, I'll go with Mavis there. Let's see. Watch out for Ty Dillon. Watch out for Ty Dillon fans. He ain't got before, but they will come after you. Says Bumblebee. Roofer saying peace out to Cassandra. What driver is your biggest disappointment of the year? Mine has to be the 77. So much hype for him being good, says Escobar. Well, I'm not gonna go that route because of the drivers for the rookie race. As far as rookie of the year goes, he is 24th in points, way ahead of Josh Berry, Zane Smith, and Kaz Gralla. So he's outrunning all the rookies. Let's see, what are some other statistics we can look at here? Yep, they don't. This particular page doesn't have the other statistics, but I think he's doing good for a rookie. Few races in, I don't see where he did anything any different than Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs started off a little bit slow, but showed potential. I think he's done the same thing. I'm saying McDowell. He's also Inspire equipment too. So even though they're getting elevated by Trackhouse, it's still not Trackhouse or Hendrick equipment like Ty Gibbs had. So I think he's done pretty good. You might can make that argument for maybe like Josh Berry or Zane Smith, but they've had some wrecks and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe even Kaz Gralla, but he is driving Rick Ware equipment, so I don't know. Let's see. Or the 71. Zane Smith. Okay, I got you. I was wondering. I was like, Hostfar, he's doing good. Yeah, Zane Smith. He did get a lot of hype coming into the season. Zane Smith and Josh Berry, I think, have surprised a lot of people by not running better than they've run. But it is early in the season, so we'll have to see. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm surprised he's not running better than he is. He's definitely ready, in my opinion, but has not got it going just yet. Have a great weekend, everyone. See you Sunday, says Cassandra. Zane will be fine, says B. I made a mistake. I got you, Escobar. I cleaned it up. I got you now. He wasn't talking about Hocevar, Roofer. He just got the numbers mixed up, which is fair. It happens. I was still saying Ty Gibbs in the 45, even though he's in the 54 now. But that one's really confusing because he literally flipped numbers. So let's see. And then some days I still think he drives for 2311 because I don't know. The 54, I don't know. I don't really associate it with Gibbs, even though they run it all the time in the Xfinity Series. I associate the 18 with Gibbs still. So I don't know. Ty Gibbs is another one that I transpose and flip a lot. Let's see. BB, did you feel bad for Jeremy Mayfield being knocked out of the 36 car? I'm not going to – Jeremy Mayfield had his chance. Jeremy Mayfield's going to Jeremy Mayfield. There's so much between NASCAR and Jeremy Mayfield's story. I don't know who's telling more junk. So I think they're both lying. So I don't know. Let's see. Hostvar might win a race, says Roofer. Oh, for sure. Over under 16 winners this season. I'm gonna take the under on that. But right now I'm looking, and I'm just saying that because that's what I said at the beginning of the season. Not looking good for the home team here. I'll tell you what was looking good for the home team of the 5 picks I made on the head-to-heads. I got 4 out of 5 right this weekend, or last weekend. So I am pumped about that. Sometimes I'm right every time. Barry is overrated, says Mark Barnum. I think Gibbs will be great this season. Just championship doesn't matter because it's a one-race goose chase, says Chrome Diesel. Gibbs is going to win a race. I think Gibbs is going to win a race fairly soon. How would you fix the 4 season? That's a good question. One wise guy, make the cars faster. I don't know. They're off. I was not expecting that group to be off of all the SHR cars, but so far so bad. I wonder if Justin Haley regrets going to Rick Ware Racing. I don't know. Is he doing? Let's take a look at the points. Justin Haley. All right, so we got Justin Haley. He's only like 16 points behind Daniel Hemrick. So I don't know. I feel like he's running about the same as he ran there. So it looks like a lateral move. Definitely wasn't an improvement, but he hasn't ran technically any worse either. So it's at least as far as who replaced him. So sort of a wash as it goes so far. Like I said, 16 points between them. That's not a whole lot. 3 forwards in the final 4. Skip ahead. 3 forwards in the final 4. Says Roofer. We'll have to see. You better hope it's not a Toyota, according to this weekend, because that one Toyota is going to have a lot more speed than them if the season keeps playing out like this on the short track package. Blaney, number 1 in points, says Chrome Diesel. Oh yeah, Blaney's he's off to a good season. I was thinking Joey Logano, because it's an even year. I was thinking he was going to be off to the good start and have a good season, but unfortunately, he's had speed. Like I said, just hasn't had the finishes. DBC spotters won a 3-race championship. I mean, at the very least, it makes more sense. I'm rooting for Hocevar, says T-Van. I think old Josephus has a lot of fans. BB, will JGR get all 4 cars in the Final 4 this year? Nope, won't happen. I can live having a 10-race championship, but I highly prefer season-long points. And just because I said that, OJ and Toothpaste, that'll probably happen. Let's see. Just because I said that so confidently, they'll probably they'll probably have all 4 in the Final 4. I can live having a 10-race championship, but I highly prefer season-long points, says Chrome Diesel. I'm with you on that one. I 100% agree. If we're going to have a playoff, let's make it a 10-race playoff. But I'd rather have season-long points. But the more races for the playoff, the better. I will say that. What's up, Mr. Pearson? Good to see you on here. Blaney, Logano, BK, and Kyle Busch. That's Roofer's Final 4. Josh Berry seems like a cool person. I just don't think he has the skill to be a semi-top cup ride. He better hope Junior buys into that team. LOL, says Escobar. We'll have to see what happens there. That's I feel like it is on the table, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes down. He'll be good either way. He could retire and be a crew chief or a spotter and still make tons of money. Has Rodney Childers lost his edge, or was his bread and butter skirting the rules? The 62 car was on the DQ'd from a win at Caraway in the car store last year. Yeah, with Lane Riggs driving it. It's hard to say. BB, what's the worst place to shop at for race gear? I mean, anywhere where you buy a diecast, because there's a good chance they cancel it on you. So, worst place, Fanatics maybe. Fanatics. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. There are only 12. There's only like NASCAR.com, Fanatics, and Circle B. Like that's like the only ones left. So they're all 3. I mean, none of them are bad. So I don't know. There are only 12 spots left in the playoffs. I mean, the most fun is always buying it at the merch haulers at the racetrack. But you're always going to pay the premium price for buying it there. But it's just more fun. It's just more fun to do it there. I'll tell you what, the best place is probably eBay. So you can if you're patient, sometimes you can get a good deal on a car you waited on. Sometimes it backfires and you get a terrible deal because you didn't buy it when it first came out, and now you're paying like 3 times as much because it's a rare one. Case in point, the William Byron Days of Thunder car. There are only 12 spots left in the playoffs, says Duke Chronic. 36 playoffs. LOL, you win by collecting the most points. Hey, there you go. 36 race playoff. I like it. Let's see. One thing I noticed this week is the more Toyota drivers improve, the more it will hurt Denny's chances of winning races. It was a big reason he didn't win Sunday. That and he randomly spun himself out. That was pretty wild too. When's your first race again? Probably South Boston. I think it's the 24th. So that'll be the next race I'm helping on, I would imagine. HMS can't kick. Words are hard. HMS can't keep up the momentum. Those Fords are coming, says Roofer. BB, do you remember the driver Bill Lester? I do remember Bill Lester. He was a good driver in the truck series. Never punched and got that win, but he seemed like a pretty good dude. I hate the fact that if someone wins a race, they are pretty much in the playoffs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Fanatics, Lids, NASCAR.com, Fans Edge, ETC all pull from the same warehouse. Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter which website you go to of those ones. It's all coming from the same place. I guess the team merchandise websites are a little bit better because RCR has some different stuff that you can't find on those. Same thing with Hendrick. Like, there's always exclusives if you go to the actual race shop. The actual race shops, the race websites, and if you go to the actual race shops, it's the opposite of buying at the track. A lot of times, if you go to the actual race shops, you can get the items cheaper than you could get them anywhere else. So that would have to be the best place to buy. BB, have you ever been scammed on eBay or Facebook Marketplace? Facebook Marketplace, not so much. eBay, I have, but they immediately made it right. So I got that one straightened out pretty easily. Looks like Icy Vert doesn't like Phoenix being a championship race. So he joins a large crowd there. Not a controversial take by any stretch. Yeah, this chat is filled with NASCAR purists. Escobar, get rid of the playoffs. I really think Ty Gibbs' first one is going to be the Monster Mile. It could be. Don't sleep on him at Martinsville though. He is really, really good at Martinsville. Petty Museum is where I get my merch. Says Delmar. Hey, there you go. Cool thing about buying from the Petty Museum, for the exact same price as regular equipment, you can usually get a autographed version. That's too far away, but there you go. You see that Mopar hat? That's Richard Petty autographed from the Petty Museum. So that's always a fun one to visit. Whereas other places, if you get the autographed one, they jack it up by like $100. I have the 124th Oreo 2001 or 2000. I'll tell you, Kevin Harvick back in the day, KevinHarvick.com, when you bought stuff from him, it was all autographed. It was like sort of the same thing with Richard Petty. I don't know if he does it now or not, but whenever you bought from Kevin Harvick's actual website, it was autographed for free. So I always thought that was really cool of him to do that. I have the 124th Oreo 2001 or the 2002 Harvick diecast set, says Chrome Diesel. That was a pretty cool one. I agree, Roofer. The playoffs suck. Documentary status update. I did finish writing the script for the Winston Cup Museum today. So I will record the script and then I'll put the pictures to it. So we'll have to see. BB, I had a script. I should say this. I had a script for it. It sounded good in my head, but then when it came out of my mouth, it didn't sound good. So I had to scrap it and try again. So that one, I got picky about it and I changed it pretty much completely. Pretty much completely. Let's see. BB, the most disgusting Oreo flavor and the best. I only eat double stuffed or regular stuffed, so I haven't gone out on the limb and tried the other ones yet. Or sometimes the vanilla ones. My mom's allergic to chocolate, so she has the vanilla ones at her house most of the time. So those ones. Oreo candy corn is awful, and Oreo mint is fire, says OJ and toothpaste. So there you go. If you find the Oreo mint, that's the one to have, according to OJ and toothpaste. Let's see. Harvick Oreo was supposed to run some races, but it remained being a show car, never seeing laps. In between the lanes, let me say this. Oreo, he didn't add this part, but Oreo mint is the best one, according to OJ and toothpaste. Anyone think this Cup Road race car will never race well at most ovals? I think it'll race well at ovals. It just won't race well at short tracks because the tire's too wide. Tire's too wide. Gear ratios don't work for short tracks. You can't roll the center. Multitude of problems with the way they got it set up now. But main problem being the tires are too wide and there's not enough horsepower. I got it. Christopher Bell is the Rodney Dangerfield of racing. I get no respect. I tell you. It says Robin Marks. Just in case you're wondering who Rodney Dangerfield is, Google him and check him out. Pretty funny comedian. A lot of funny movies he was in. He's the dude from Caddyshack that's always obnoxious and annoying. Why don't they run the Xfinity at Bristol? I don't know. Maybe it's a cost thing because they know they'll tear up a lot of cars, but they're going to do that every weekend in Xfinity anyway, I feel like. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you. All right. looks like we have reached the end of the chat. I will check y'all on the pre-race before Bristol. Until then, peace.